Russia, on January 3rd, sharply criticized the United States over the seizure of a Russian-flagged oil tanker in the North Atlantic after it was pursued from the coast of Venezuela. Russia's transport ministry said the move violated international law, citing the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. They emphasized that the seizure took place beyond the territorial waters of any state. The ministry stressed that freedom of navigation applies on the high seas and that no state has the right to use force against vessels registered under another country's jurisdiction. According to the statement, the tanker had recently changed its name from Bella 1 to Marinera. The vessel was granted temporary permission to sail under the Russian flag on December 24th, the ministry said. Russian officials also said that contact with the ship was lost after U.S. naval forces boarded it in open waters. Russia's foreign ministry said it is closely following reports of U.S. forces boarding the tanker Marinera and confirmed it has information that Russian nationals were among the crew. Moscow demanded the U.S. ensure humane treatment and allow their prompt return home, the ministry said in a statement carried by Russia's state news agencies, TASS and RIA Novosti. Separately, senior lawmaker Andrei Klishus condemned the U.S. action, calling the seizure blatant piracy.
Taking into account the incoming information about Russian citizens among the crew, we demand that the American side ensure humane and dignified treatment of them, strictly respect their rights and interests, and not hinder their speedy return to their homeland.
In a long post on X along with a video, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced that the U.S. Coast Guard and allied forces successfully seized the motor tanker Bella Thermart, a notorious ghost fleet vessel that spent weeks evading capture after refusing boarding attempts off Venezuela. During its flight across the Atlantic, the tanker changed its name and flag to Marinera in a bid to escape enforcement of U.S. sanctions linked to illicit oil shipments. The ship was taken into custody in the North Atlantic under the authority of a warrant approved by a U.S. federal court. U.S. European Command informed on their X account, which supervises American military forces in the region. Following the operation, Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth said in a post that the U.S. blockade on Venezuelan oil was fully enforced anywhere in the world. The North Atlantic operation went ahead even after Russia dispatched a submarine to escort the empty tanker, maintaining that the ship was sailing under the Russian flag and operating far from U.S. territorial waters. For reasons unclear to us, the Russian vessel is receiving heightened attention from the U.S. and NATO militaries, attention that is clearly disproportionate to its peaceful status, Russia's foreign ministry said prior to the seizure. Soon after confirming the North Atlantic seizure, the U.S. military announced it had also taken control of a second sanctioned tanker in the Caribbean Sea during a pre-dawn operation. U.S. Southern Command said the stateless dark fleet vessel, MT Sophia, was intercepted in international waters while engaged in illicit activity and is now being escorted to the United States by the Coast Guard. The action, carried out under Operation Southern Spear, the mission, which is Washington's commitment to targeting illegal maritime operations and strengthening security across the Western Hemisphere. Over the weekend, U.S. Special Forces captured Maduro and his wife in Caracas, transporting them to New York to stand trial on drug-related charges. Following this, Trump declared that the United States will run Venezuela, with American companies taking charge of its vital oil sector.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship they'll be heading to, ultimately, New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the president said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve, the most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us. And deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026. And under President Trump, America is back.